welcome back to Par and Purpose, everybody. I have David Straight from eXp Realty joining, more importantly, Air Force veteran.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So this is
I
episode
got the blue
two.
the blue for the Air Force.
Yeah. I'll stick with my black and white for now, or black and yellow for the Army. But all right, man. So I don't know a whole lot about the beginning stages in your life. What drove you to join the Air Force?
Most people would say it was something they wanted to serve their country, or they had a family member that was in the Army, the Marines, the Air Force, whatever. But for me, it wasn't quite that. It was different. It was like I was going to college, straight out of high school, going to a small town college there in Fairmont, West Virginia.
Okay.
And I was living at home with my parents and not doing real well in college. Out of high school, going to college and getting those C's. They say C's get degrees. That's what I was getting, if that. So I was like, I was doing a little partying, having a little fun. And I kept thinking to myself, I feel like I'm wasting my parents' money sometimes. I'm living at home, I'm not really doing a whole lot or what I think I'm fully capable of. So I still remembered I had a safety engineering class that I was taking, and I'd probably changed my major, I don't know how many times, but the last thing I think I was in was safety engineering, and I bombed this test. And I said, you know what?
Okay.
It's like, enough's enough. I'm tired of wasting mom and dad's money. I'm tired of partying it up and just having a good time. I need to get serious and I need to grow up. So I was like, I want to go to the recruiter and see if maybe join the military. I'd always talked about it. And that day I went and talked to an Air Force recruiter, and I said, you know what, it's time to become independent and try to grow up and do some things. And I told my parents, and they were a little shocked. And I was like, I'm tired of sponging off you guys, wasting your money. And,
They were quite happy about that.
Yeah, they
though.
were like, we didn't really have a lot of military in our family, but my dad's father, my grandfather, he was Air Force. And I didn't hear a lot about his military career. He never really talked about it.
Sure.
So I didn't really know a whole lot about it. And then my mom's father he did talk a little bit about it. He was actually in the Marine Corps, and he actually was a boxer in the Marine Corps. So a very good boxer in the Marine Corps. So that was cool. I've got some stuff of his actually that's been passed down. That's me being the only military guy in our family. My mom handed down some of that stuff to me. So I have some of that stuff at home. It's really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I actually have a pair of, I'll send you a picture of it. They're like Everlast, very old. Like they look like mitts.
Yeah.
They're boxing gloves that my grandfather used back in like the 40s or 50s. Sorry if I got that wrong. He just turned 94.
Yeah, I think I met him. Very cool guy, very funny. Yeah, he was a really good dude.
He was super into boxing. Okay, so you start out, did you avoid the other branches or you just go straight to the Air Force?
I had some friends that were Marine guys, and they were hoorah, like,
They were fun.
very crazy kind of guys. And a couple of them told me like, oh, you might want to take it easy and just join the Air Force. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, maybe. I'm not that extreme. I like to work out and things like that. But I was like, I don't know if Marines is for me. And they're like, yeah, you're too smart for the Marines. You need to go. You need to do something better.
Okay.
No, nothing towards the Marines. I have a lot of Marine friends. Don't take offense to that comment. But yeah, Air Force seemed like the right fit to me.
Okay. So what was basic training like? Do you remember anything about
basic
it?
training. I still remember getting off of the bus. You get off that bus and the instructors there yelling at you, get off the bus, screaming at you. I still remember that. But it's funny. My mom laughs. My mom and dad laugh. But for me, I've always been like working out, physically fit. So that was the fun part for me. I told my mom and dad, I'm like, man, this is great. I love it. I like the push, the physical endurance part of it, trying to push your body. And the mental part was a little bit different. I never really had anybody screaming at me or yelling at me. And that was challenging, I think, probably to get used to or to overcome, because I never really had that. But
okay. So you went from basic training to San Antonio, correct?
Yeah.
And you were a medic?
Yeah. I decided to. That was one of the things that my family is in the medical field. My mom works in X-ray. I got a brother now that's currently works in the lab, so we have a medical background. And I thought that kind of fits the niche of what I would like to do. So I became a medic. Okay. And I went to my basic training. Obviously, it was in Texas, Lackland Air Force Base, and then I went from there to actually a place called Wichita Falls, in Texas, and that's where I did my medical training. Okay. Yeah.
So did you become an EMT like while you were? I don't know if they categorize it as an EMT through military training, but did you walk away with an EMT certification?
Yeah, I did actually. It was funny. I still remember the code is 90210.
Oh, nice.
Beverly Hills.
Nice.
90 was that show that used to be on 90210. So I always remembered it. I was like, but that was the code for it, and it was medical service specialist.
Okay.
But having that, they wanted us to get our EMT certification, so we went through all the practicals and all that, and we did get EMT certified. Yeah, so we had to get our EMT. And I always thought maybe I'd want to do paramedic. I thought about pararescue. That's
Yeah.
the Air Force version
Yeah.
of Navy SEALs and all that. I
Yeah.
thought, man, that's what I want to do, but
They're
never did it. I
hardcore.
wish I would have, but they're
Yeah,
hardcore guys.
those guys are hardcore,
Yeah.
and they don't get enough credit, I don't think, in the special operations. I think people in special forces probably give them the credit they deserve,
Oh
but
yeah,
like
for sure.
I don't think the
But the
regular
outside
Joe,
public, you
they're
know, you
not
just think Navy SEALs, Navy SEALs,
right.
like, pararescue, who's that? You know?
PJs are
Yeah.
they have sweet jobs because like I think with what they do, everything is super high
Yeah.
intensity,
Yeah.
and they fill so many different voids that they're not just medics.
Yeah.
So what was it like being an EMT in the Air Force? What kind of experiences
Well, it's
did you
probably
get?
not what you would expect. This is going to sound funny, but being an EMT in the Air Force and being a medic, I worked at a base hospital. I ended up being, when you join the military, you fill out what they call a dream sheet, right? All the dream
Yeah.
places you want to go. Of course, being from West Virginia, I'm like, okay, South Carolina, North Carolina, Florida, all these, the whole East Coast, right? And they put me in the middle of the United States in Omaha, Nebraska. So I was like, oh, what am I going to do? Cornfields. All I knew was the Nebraska Huskers had a good football team way back then. So I was like, okay, so we'll deal with it. But being a medic in the Air Force, I worked on the base. I worked in a hospital on base. And I got to circulate through all the different areas of the hospital, the emergency room, family practice, cancer units,
Yeah.
all that. But I ended up, of all places, I ended up
I
in
know where you're
labor and delivery.
Yeah.
So who would have guessed this guy helped deliver babies back in the day? So I'm like, here I am. Yeah, helping mothers deliver and helping doctors. So
That's awesome.
so that's something a lot of people probably don't even know about me, that I was a medic and I worked in labor and delivery for a couple of years. Yeah.
I definitely wouldn't see that being an expectation, especially like when you join. You think, hey, I'm gonna go be an
Yeah,
EMT.
exactly. I'm going to join the Air Force and go help deliver babies. Nope, not what I planned.
So did you, as my stepsister's actually a labor and delivery nurse, did you keep count of the
No,
babies
man, I
that
wish
you
I
delivered?
did. I wish I did. The most interesting one I think I ever did is we delivered one on the elevator one time. This lady, it was like
Wow.
it was like her fifth baby. And when you after 1, 2, 3, 4, they come pretty quick. And this one, it was literally on the elevator. He delivered the baby on the elevator. Yeah, it
Wow.
was crazy. So, but yeah, as far as numbers, man, I wouldn't even know. I was like, a lot. I
A
know
lot?
a lot. Yeah.
Okay.
But it was pretty amazing to see a child, the first time to see the childbirth.
That's
I
pretty
mean,
cool.
obviously I just about passed out the first time I saw it, but
Sure.
I have a much bigger respect for women after seeing what they go through delivering it.
I do too, man. Having a baby, I can't even imagine like the pain that they go through, but it's a wild experience.
It definitely
I never
is.
got like woozy or anything, but
Yeah.
I could see why someone would.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Okay.
Because the doctors are always back there. They're like, "Hey, Dad,
Yeah.
first time." And they're,
You
yeah,
good?
you're
You
like,
good? You good?
You're
Yeah.
standing up.
Yeah.
If
You
you
need a
don't
chair?
know,
Yeah.
you don't need to stand up. But that's awesome, man. Any other wild stories that you had from running amok in the Air
Oh
Force?
man, I'm trying to think. That was probably the wildest one as far as when it comes to delivering the baby, whatever. But
Yeah.
as far as going places, the only place that's one thing I wish I could have gotten to see more countries and done some more tours and stuff. The only place I really did was I got to go to Panama for 6 months and I was
Okay.
there. It was a safe haven operation. We had some Cuban refugees. We were holding them there in Panama. So that was a cool experience, but it was a joint task force. It was us and the Army, Marines.
So did you guys have like a field hospital set
Yeah,
up?
we did.
Okay.
That was different. Stayed in a tent for 6 months.
Yeah.
They called it back then ATH, Air Transportable Hospital.
Yeah.
It was set up out there and we had cots and we did all those things. And yeah, it was pretty neat. It was a pretty good experience. That was a great experience. I really had enjoyed that.
The field hospital experience, I can't tell you from a personal setup experience, but just like during COVID. So we were down in Fort Bliss. They set up a field hospital to hold a lot of the people that had COVID at the time overnight. They had a field hospital and places for people to stay. It's not glamorous.
No, it's not glamorous at all. Yeah. I can still remember being out there and we had they call it bug, these nets that you put over top of your cot so the
Yeah.
bugs didn't get in. And we had fans trying to blow fans, try to cool off. It was not glamorous by any means. We had shower tents. We weren't going to nice showers or anything. We had a big open tent that had water coming out all over the place, and we were out there. And sounds crazy, but yeah, ice cold water, wasn't warm water.
Oh.
So nowadays we're talking about cold plunging. We did it for real back then in the air when I was there. I was like, we didn't have any choice. Cold plunge, yeah, we're doing it every day.
You mentioned, I have to tell this story just because it cracks me up, but it was so embarrassing at the time. Being in the field with the tents, so my platoon sergeant and I didn't necessarily always go out together. And in this particular circumstance, I don't think that he was with us, but we were out in the field. I remember it being relatively cold, and we were moving some things around and we set up shop on this new training area. And I want to say he had left because I had a tent on my own. And because of that, I didn't want my soldiers to set up that tent. So I had a camper, which is just like an individual tent. My company commander had one, our ops guys had them. Generally speaking, like that wasn't the best look either because the soldiers didn't have them. They
Yeah,
had their
yeah.
own. They had like large tents, but I set up my camp like by itself, near them, but not on top of them. And it's windy in El Paso, real windy out in the desert.
I can see where this is leading. Yeah.
And so I don't know what we were doing, but I just remember people like pointing, laughing, and my tent
There
is
it
just
goes.
flying through the air. And I was like, oh my God, this is a
Yeah.
terrible look as a platoon leader.
Yeah, really.
I mean, I was pretty seasoned at the time, but it was pretty funny, man.
Yeah.
It was embarrassing.
Yeah, I bet. Does this guy know what he's doing? Yeah.
Okay, so you're a labor and delivery nurse. What drove you to get out?
Man, that's another crazy one. I grew up in, like I said, small town, Fairmont, West Virginia.
Yeah.
Back roads. Joined the military, obviously. And then the last year of my military career, I was stationed in Omaha, Nebraska. They decided to legalize what they called riverboat casinos. So before, you always had to go to Vegas or you had to go to Atlantic City to gamble. I knew nothing about gambling. I lived, like I said, grew up in Fairmont, West Virginia. So a good buddy of mine that worked in the hospital with me, he said, hey, they're getting ready to open up casinos in Council Bluffs, Iowa, which was right across the river from Omaha, Nebraska. The Missouri River splits the two states. And he said, I want to go try to be a blackjack dealer part-time because we had worked in the clinic and we were off on the weekends. And I was like, wow, that sounds pretty cool. I don't know. He said, are you interested? And I'm like, yeah, let's go check it out. Like, that sounds fun. So we went there, met the person in charge of it. They asked, hey, can you start class tonight? We started class that night. He ended up dropping out of the class, but I progressed out. I was like, this is so much fun, dealing blackjack, dealing cards. I'm like, this is really cool. I was like, this is something I never did before. And to fast track that, I started doing really well in the casino business, working just weekends. Let's be honest, we don't make a lot of money being in the military. Military is not historically paid a lot of money. So I was working Saturdays and Sundays, dealing cards, blackjack, making more money doing that 4 days a pay period than I was full time as an active duty Air Force. So I was like, I was young then. I was like, man, this is crazy. Like, why should I stay in the military when I'm making twice as much and doing half the work? And then what happens if I go full time? When you're young, then you don't think about retirement, things like that. If I'd have stayed in the Air Force, I could have retired at the age of 40 and then
Retired right about now, right?
Oh, I wish I was 40, man, but I could have retired very young and then pursued that casino career after that. But I was like, I saw the money, I saw the fun, it was exciting. So I decided to just let my 4-year active duty commitment run out, and I decided to pursue the casino career. So I became a dealer of all games and worked my way up from there. Actually, in the casino business, I did really well.
So I think that one thing a lot of people that I want people to understand is that getting out of the military is actually way more difficult than anyone gives it credit for.
I was very lucky. I was very lucky, though, that I had a kind of a plan, because I think a lot of people, they're like, I don't want to be in the military. I want to get out, but I don't really have a plan of what I wanted to do. I was lucky and fortunate enough that I was introduced to something in civilian life that would basically look fun, look like a good career. So I was able to transition, but it was definitely different after being in the military and being structured and being able to be in. When I went to Panama, I think we had a day or two notice, like, hey, we're going to Panama. And get your stuff ready. We got to get on C5 in a couple of days and get everything over there. So it was like, with civilian life, it's different. They're not going to just call you and say, hey, you got to go, and you're there for 6 months.
So I'm going to backtrack a little bit.
Yeah.
Just because we talked about the fun stuff. Did you have any challenges throughout your military career, or was it all? Hopefully it was all positive.
It was all, I mean, I say everybody should have to join the military. I think it made me grow up quick. It made me become very independent. I didn't rely on my parents. I knew that, hey, I'm on my own now. I'm an adult. I need to be self-sufficient. Need to be able to be responsible. And the military gave me that for sure, because I wasn't those things when I lived at home. But I think as far as challenging, I would say probably just being away from family at first was tough. Being away from your friends and family and not really knowing anybody. But I'm a pretty outgoing guy, so I quickly met people. But I think honestly, really, there wasn't a whole lot of challenges for me military. I think I was able to adapt pretty well.
Yeah.
I think.
So do you talk to anybody still that you were with? Or
there's a couple here and there. I have a couple guys out in one that lives in Kansas City that we used to be roommates even after we got out of the military, and he lives in Kansas City. But there's a couple across the country that every once in a while I'll see on Facebook and make a comment, or they'll send me a text, or Yeah, there's a guy that lived in Vegas for a while that I had some interactions with. But yeah, you still maintain some of those friendships. Yeah.
Yeah, that's huge for me.
I wish I had done more. I wish I kept more than yeah, for sure.
It's hard, man. There's certain relationships that come and go, and then like I have some that have never stopped since day one of even meeting these people.
Yeah.
But even like the guys that I was bunkmates with in basic and even OCS, we still talk.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Not normally as much as we used to. But I was just talking to someone about them a couple days ago, and then the following morning I get a message from one of them. I was like, "That's cool, man. Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love that." So you got out of the military. What was getting out? I know you said it was a pretty decent experience.
Yeah, the transition was, like I said, I think the transition was really good. I was very fortunate. Like I said, I had something kind of lined up, and getting out was pretty smooth transition as far as being ready to take on the civilian world.
How old were you at the time?
Let's see, I joined the military when I was like 20, so I must have been about 24, 25, somewhere in that area. Yeah,
so you were mature still.
I'm mature though, yeah. But yeah.
There's a difference between an 18-year-old and a 20-year-old.
Yeah, exactly, for sure. Yeah, I felt like I was definitely more mature at that point.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's after Omaha?
Oh, so Omaha, I basically got out of the military, like I said, and became a dealer at the casino there and worked my way up. I worked up to basically one of the heads of table game operations there. I was a casino manager there, so basically managed the dealers, the supervisors, and all that type of stuff. So that was, yeah, so I had a good career there. And I always wanted, in the back of my head, I wanted to get back to the East Coast, close to West Virginia, to be around family.
Yeah.
So there was some opportunity here in Columbus, Ohio, which came about with the casinos.
Okay, so I'm gonna switch gears, but we'll come back to it. Did you start playing golf before the military or after? What point in your life did you start
Man, you
hitting
know
the
what?
ball?
Somebody asked me that the other day, and I know that back when I was in high school, it was funny. I think it was called Senior Skip Day back then, and that's what we did. We went and golfed. We went and golfed on Senior Skip Day. And so I played a couple rounds in high school, but never played it like serious or anything. I had some clubs. And then in the military, I did play some golf, and that's really, it's been like a game that has stayed consistent and been there for me the whole time, ever since basically high school. So it's just something I feel like it's great to get out on the course and enjoy it. I'm a nature guy, I like being outside and just being out there and being around friends, being able to interact and talk and tell stories. And for 4 to 5 hours, yes, it does take 4 to 5 hours to play 18 holes. Some of us a little longer even. So
yeah, some people, it's transitory to life though, man. And that's what I love about golf. That's what I love about this. I wish that so many more people would play golf, because I think that this is super deep because it is still a sport, but you hit your best shots and you get the worst breaks. You hit your worst shots, you get the best breaks.
that's true.
You and I play together, and I'll play terrible, and then I'll go out with my stepdad like we did yesterday, and we both shoot 81. It's, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like,
where was that at when Dave was out there?
Exactly.
He doesn't think I know how to play.
That's how I feel. And I told him that. I'm like, dude, it's so frustrating.
It is.
To
that game.
Understand what you're capable of, and then it just doesn't go with you. But then we talk about it, and then you have these great expectations for how you're going to play. And I think that's where you go wrong. It's like that expectation lives in your head.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, all right, man, I told David that I'm close to a 10 handicap. Today we're going to shoot 85 or less. And we do not shoot 85 or less when we're with David. It just drives me crazy though. But I think the good part about that is then at the end of the day, you go back and at some point it comes back. And
there's
you do
one
have
or two
those
good
great
shots.
rounds.
Yeah, those great rounds. It's such a mental game. That's why I like it, because I think it really truly is a mental game. It really has its ups, has its downs, and it's just challenging. But when those days, but even we always say a bad day on the course is better than a good day at work, right? Usually, but just being out there and just those one or two good shots is just,
it's just refreshing, man, to be outside. And like you said, get an opportunity to meet people and experience what they have. And that's why I think this works well, is it gives people an opportunity to share their stories, but explore the sport. But anyway, so with that being said, I asked my last guy, Tyler, so shout out Tyler Hicks, who is one person in the world that you would love to play golf with, past or present?
Oh man, that's a tough one. I know what my girlfriend's going to say. I know he would say, because she thinks I have this infatuation with The Rock. You never would have guessed.
How could you not?
How could The Rock I love The Rock, right? But I honestly, probably, I don't know, he comes to mind. But then also lately, it's just, I listen to a lot of motivational stuff. I listen to a lot of influencers and things of that sort. So I think nowadays, I would probably be more drawn to like somebody named like somebody like Ed Milet. I don't know if you ever heard of
Okay.
him. He's a very
Yeah.
motivational speaker. Someone that's going to maybe challenge me, somebody that's going to basically help me understand purpose and why
Yeah.
and living just the way you're supposed to live and that type of thing and what's important in life and what's not important in life and how they've progressed their stories. Like I hear some of these motivational speakers who really have just literally almost been down out on the streets and rose up just because training their brain, just trying to overcome adversity and identifying what their why is and their purpose.
So you're leading me into one of my favorite question. What gives you purpose now?
Oh, jeez, so much, so much. Yeah, I mean, without getting too emotional, to go back to my time after the Air Force.
Let's go back to that
Okay, let's go back.
because I know where you're going.
Okay.
So start from wherever you want.
Okay. Getting out of the Air Force, I got into the casino career, met my ex-wife in the casino business. We had a daughter, beautiful, amazing daughter, lived in Nebraska for the majority of the time. We actually lived there until 2012. 2012 came and they decided to make casinos legal in Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah.
So we saw an opportunity to maybe move closer to family and be able to I had a daughter during that time that we were in Nebraska. My wife and I, we had a daughter named Brooke, and we thought this is an opportunity to maybe get her closer to family, to her cousin, to grandma, papa,
Yeah.
all the people. Because like when I lived in Nebraska, being in the military and be that far, you got in to see once or twice a year holidays.
Right.
There wasn't a good relationship. So I thought that was an opportunity to get to the East Coast and to be able to maybe start something fresh, start something new. And we got here and I forget what we were going to go mentor after that, what we were going to go into after that. But
So what gives you purpose?
so what gives me purpose?
Brooke, if I may.
Yeah.
What year was she born?
She was born in 2004, had her. We moved to Columbus, Ohio in 2012. So she was about 8 years old. She was very young.
Yeah.
And to fast track, we lost her in 2022. Yeah, 2022, I lost her. So she is, they say, with pain comes purpose. And there's no bigger pain than losing a child.
Yeah.
And when I lost her, just my whole world changed. My why changed, my way of thinking changed, the way I interact with people, what's important in life to me, everything. My whole world changed. Losing my only daughter, she was my everything. And then when I lost her, I really didn't know what to do. I didn't even know if I wanted to be here anymore. I was just like, man, losing something, losing your daughter, your only daughter, or losing any child, it's hard enough to lose somebody. But when you lose somebody, they say the unnatural order of death, because you're not ever supposed to lose a child, right? You lose grandparents, you lose parents, but you're not supposed to lose a child. And when that happened, it really just, it shook me. I was devastated. I'm still devastated. 3 years later, she has made me the person I am today. Just with, like I said, with pain comes purpose. With her, everything I do now, I do for her. I know she's looking down upon me up there in the sky. And I try to be a better person every day with having her and trying to make her proud and trying to do the right thing. I've really just found out that if you make it more about others than about yourself, if you try to pour into others, if you try to help others, and if you try to just be a good person, your life changes. I feel like in the last 3 years since I've lost her, I've been super sad. I've been very sad many days. But then again, on the other side, I've had some really good things happen in my life.
Yeah.
Like we'll get to it, I'm sure, but I'm a successful real estate agent now. And I really just owe it all to her and to God, obviously. Just everything that has happened to me. That's another thing they say. People say, it happened to me. Why did it happen to me? But it didn't happen to you. It happened for you. That's what made you what you are today. Right. Losing her is what made me the person I am today.
Yeah, not even remotely close to being similar, but loss is what created this. The loss of my own father is really what bridged this gap, and I hate that. I'd rather not ever look at that screen again with those words on it, but it's true. It would have never been birthed without that. And that's hard, man. Like any loss, and you're absolutely right, like that, no one should ever have to go through that. But I have to ask you how you did it, because I see it on your face.
Man, I ask myself that all the time. And even my girlfriend, I think my friends and parents. And somebody said something to me one time. They said, don't lose what you have over what you've lost.
Yeah.
When that stuck deep in me, I thought, man, I don't want to lose my girlfriend. I don't want to lose my family. I have so many other things to live for. And I know Brooke would want me to be happy. So I asked myself how to get through it. And there are days I wake up and I'm just like, man, like this day, I just not feeling it. How do I get the motivation? People see me on Facebook or something. I do a Monday motivation
yeah.
thing. People like, man, how does he do it? How does he, like, losing his daughter 3 years ago? How does he keep going? And she's what keeps me going. She, like I said, losing her is what gave me my purpose. When I started thinking more about others and less about myself. And like I said, every opportunity I get to help others or to do something more fulfilling. Getting into real estate, that's really something that has brought me warmth and fulfilling and made something that, like, putting people in homes has just really helped me go day to day. And it's something I enjoy so much. Coming from the casino business, there was not a lot of fulfillment working in casinos. To see people gambling, and not that people get, there's this, the proportion of people that get addicted is small, but still you see it. People lose families, lose businesses. You see some of that addiction, but doing something that is giving back to others or fulfilling others, that's really resonated with me. That's really what keeps me going, I think.
I'm with that, man. Again, it's the same. Like, it's for others, and I think it's extremely important to have something to gravitate towards. So, going through that, and totally, again, a totally different experience. I have created this, like, I've manifested this idea that I had a very challenging relationship with my father toward the end of it. That, thank God, we had the opportunity to rekindle somewhat of a relationship just before he passed away. And it helped me learn a lot. I'm thankful that I did that, but it helped me move on.
Put things in perspective too.
Yeah.
We're not, nobody's guaranteed tomorrow. Hey, let's make the best of today, right? Let's do what we.
So with that situation, I've come away with one simple thought, and it's that given the opportunity, just hug your parents. In your situation, what type of advice would you give someone? I know that's a very, like, loaded, weird
I think,
question.
I think one thing is just, and my parents and our family, we're not real passionate, but since we lost Brooke, I find myself saying to my mom or my dad, love you. We never really said it that much before, but now when you lose somebody, you're like, man, I don't want a day to go past or lose them and them not know that I still love them and I care about them a lot. So it's, now I think sometimes I just try to treat every day like it's going to be the last. And if there's something that needs to be said today that I might not get the opportunity to say tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I think don't be afraid to show affection. Don't be afraid to hug, be able to say you love each other, be able to be there for one another. Like my last Monday motivation, I talked about actively listening. That's one thing I wish I would have done better with my daughter. Is I wish I would have been more of a better listener. I was trying to be the parent, this is the way it should be, and sometimes not validating what she was going through, validating her feelings. And that's a lot of times we listen to respond rather than listening to try to understand what they're going through or try to hear the message that they're trying to deliver.
Yeah.
So I think if I were to give some advice as a parent with losing a child, I would say, do that. Listen to your child, try to understand, give them an opportunity to speak, give them an opportunity to be heard and understand and show some empathy. Okay. And then maybe give some advice, but definitely be an active listener for sure. We talk about whys, and I listen to a lot of motivational stuff, and they talk about where your why and your purpose comes from. And they say it's usually the most tragic thing in your life is where you get your why and where you get your purpose from. And for me, it was losing my daughter. I had 3 bad years. 2021, I lost my job. 2022, I lost my daughter. 2023, I got diagnosed with prostate cancer and lost my prostate. So it was like, what is going on? Like, why is all this stuff happening to me? But it just really, honestly, it made me stronger. Like, now I feel like I could face anything. Like, I'm ready. Okay, what's going to happen in 2025? I'm up, I'm ready. What are you going to serve to me next? Like, it makes you stronger. It makes you able to handle that adversity. And the fact of the matter is, we all have terrible things that happen in our life, and it's how you respond. It's how you get back up. I will say, like, even my uncle lost his daughter 3 months after I lost my daughter. He lost his daughter, which was my daughter's cousin, and she was only 25 years old. The same thing. Like, I see a lot of parents, a lot of people losing children. It's a tough world we live in these days. It's just,
I know you're doing some stuff to help, especially parents that are going through similar stuff that you are. I saw your Facebook post the other day.
Yeah.
You want to touch on that?
Yeah, absolutely. The last, it's no big secret, and I'm not ashamed of it. I don't mind talking about it. My daughter, she dealt with some little bit of addiction. And we can say it right here on the thing, she passed from taking what she thought was a Xanax. She thought it was a Xanax, and it actually had fentanyl in it. It killed her. So it was basically a kill pill. So I say, they don't. Addiction, it doesn't discriminate, right? It could happen to anybody. Everybody always thinks, oh, we live in a good house. We had a good household. I made good money. We were able to provide. My daughter, she had everything she wanted, but they still face those difficult times. Everything is so difficult nowadays. All the kids want to be lights, social media. You got all these pressures.
It's terrible.
So it's terrible, but there is help out there. I was actually at an event. You probably saw, like I said, on my Facebook page, I was in an event. There's a group called the TAP organization.
Yeah.
That's called the Addicted Parent. And what it is, it's a group that helps parents that are going through, that had children that are in addiction.
Okay.
So they won't tell you what to do, but there'll be some soundboards there to listen to what you're going through. You'll be able to hear what other people are going through and that type of thing. It's very beneficial. I say, if you're going through that, if you have a child that's you think maybe going through some addiction, 100% get dialed into that and see what you can do to help your child before it's too late. I'm big on, like I said, giving, and just even I tell people now, just even if you can't, some people have money, some people have time, whatever you got, like maybe it's something out of your house that you can give like every time now. And it's crazy. Like, I feel like ever since I've had that mentality over the last 3 years to give, like everything has been going well. Like I keep receiving. And they say the more you give, the more you're going to receive. So it really, truly is. I've probably been more generous since I lost my daughter than my whole life, like with trying to help and trying to be part of things and trying to give both financially or time.
I think you learn what's important.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know, especially you can age and learn what's important, but when you go through something that's tragic enough to weigh on your mind every day, you figure out what's really important to you because you think about it. And money is probably not something that you're thinking about 24/7.
Yeah.
Home life might be, but like your car, care less. There's so many
Yeah.
different things that before you start to figure out life, if you will, I'm not an expert, but I just generally believe this, that as you start to wake up, if you will, you really start to realize what's more important to you. And it's giving back to people and however you can to support.
There's a lot of good organizations out there
incredible.
that help. And like I said, and I tell people, like I used to be back in the day, I was all about the nice cars, nice clothes, nice watches, nice everything. But now I tell people, like, some advice I would give: if you're thinking about buying a new car or taking your family on a vacation, take your family on a vacation.
Yeah.
Create that experience. Those vehicles will come and go. The clothes will come and go. Create those experiences. And that's one thing I did try to do with my daughter over the last 3 years. Is every spring break we took a road trip. We went from what's called Pittsburgh all the way to California and back, and New York and everywhere, all over the place, DC. But I just wanted to create those experiences. And I would say that's, if you want to have more purpose and have a better life and be more fulfilled, just try to create those experiences more than trying to. And I learned that from my girlfriend too. My girlfriend's very thrifty. Ruth, you've met her. She's very thrifty. She's not all about all the super nice clothes and nice vehicles and all that. She's just let's just go somewhere. Let's travel. Let's see the world. Let's create an experience. Let's do something that we can remember.
Okay. You go through that, right? You move from Omaha to here and you're working at the casino downtown. Definitely peculiar situation going from
People always say
blackjack
military,
and
then casino, and then now you're selling houses. Okay, yeah.
selling houses now. So what's that been like?
Oh man, it's been incredible, man. It's so enjoyable. I went from having a salary job as a manager, and there was some great people. I got some great friends still in the casino business, but man, I tell you, just being an entrepreneur or being somebody that works for myself basically now, and being able to see the benefits of putting in the hard work and having a job that's just fulfilling, that just makes me smile.
Yeah.
It makes me feel warm and cozy. Being at those clothes, you guys see the picture I'm pointing at today. I'm like, yes, these good ladies put these people
You
in
did
this.
it.
Yeah, we did it. We got to the finish line. They're not paying rent anymore. But I tell you, man, real estate is something I've really been passionate about. Has brought me a lot of happiness. And I've met some incredible people. And I don't try to pretend I'm somebody I'm not. Like when I'm on social media or I'm doing a Monday motivation, or if you see a post that's me. I'm just trying to be authentic, that I'm trying to be who I am. I'm not trying to be a big influencer or anything like that. I'm just trying to, people want to see who I am, see that I'm normal, I'm human. I go through struggles. I have happy days. I have sad days. I've overcome adversity. So
Normal stuff. I think that's huge, man. And then again, along the lines of why we're doing this, I don't think we have enough real life stuff. We've got all these challenges that you can watch on social media for fun, but I don't think people are talking about the real life stuff that people go through, whether it be positive or negative or fun or bad, or it doesn't matter. So house selling, you help a lot of veterans, a lot,
Yes, I veterans.
probably
Yeah.
more than anyone else I know.
Yeah, probably
Um,
80% of my business is probably veterans, if not higher. Yeah, it's a lot of veterans.
that's incredible. And it says a lot about you, especially as your business relates, even where we live. Like there's really,
Yeah.
we do have, I think we have the fifth largest veteran population in the country, but like you wouldn't know that.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Um, I definitely didn't expect to hear that when I read that, but it is true. Like we have a huge population of veterans. Tell me a couple things that you love just about being able to give the keys to a veteran or any home buyer, really.
Yeah, we'll stick with veterans because I do a lot of veterans. And I tell you, you know as well as I do, veterans just kind of, we have that bond. Veterans like working with veterans when they find out, hey, yeah, you served. We're going to get together. We're going to be good. We're going to work well together. But it definitely is a little more special. Seems like just because we've had that serve, we can talk about that experience of serving.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'll be to talk a little bit about representing a veteran in home buying is in the beginning, it was very challenging, and I've gotten very good at it because, as well as I do, being a lender, that a lot of times people, they're uneducated when it comes to a VA loan. And a lot of people think, oh, a veteran maybe doesn't have good credit, or they're not as qualified a buyer, or the VA loan is not a good loan product. And it's absolutely not true. I pride myself in explaining to the agents, like, hey, the VA loan is a good loan, and this person has good credit, and they are a solid buyer. I think there's been a lot of, I don't want to talk too much about it, but I think when you see a purchase contract and an offer, you have to tell whether it's a VA loan or it's a conventional loan or if it's FHA. And back in the day, I think it's getting better, but people would see VA loans, oh, we don't want nothing to do with that one. It's going to be a strict appraisal, strict inspection. And they're like, which to me is a little bit of discrimination. I hope they change that someday where it should just show, hey, this person is going through financing. Doesn't matter if it's conventional. All we know is they're getting a loan. They're getting a loan. Right. So it shouldn't discriminate. But I will say helping veterans is it's been very humbling for me just to be able to help so many veterans out there and to be able to fight for them and be able to put them in some pretty amazing homes and get them some great deals. And man, and it's not about transactions for me. It's about creating relationships. Yeah. That's one thing I learned early in real estate. It's not about like moving on to the next deal and getting the next one done. It's about really caring about people, having a relationship and continuing that relationship and be able to show that people want somebody that they know and trust, right? And if you don't have that, you're not going to do well in real estate or lending.
I agree. And I think the thing and you touched on a little bit is being able to create a relationship and being a veteran. That relationship, generally speaking, instant. And you don't have to try. No. When you hear the words like, hey, I'm a veteran, or you can tell, it's pretty easy to connect with those people.
Absolutely.
Unless they're like the hardcore Marines.
Yeah. I've sold some houses to some Marines too. Yeah.
I'm just
all branches. Yeah.
No, but it is. It's simple. It's a pretty easy, quick connection.
Yeah.
And you touched on something that I would like to touch on in a different light. There's definitely some thoughts about VA loans. What do you think people get wrong from the civilian side about veterans in general? Not necessarily in the home buying process, but just about veterans, period.
Yeah, I think there's definitely some stereotypes. I think people look at veterans like, oh, this person's probably got some mental issues, or this person's probably got some PTSD, or something's wrong with this person. They served and they probably got some underlying issues. I think, which there are a lot, right? Sure. We know there's a lot of mental illness is a big thing. PTSD is a big thing. I think a lot of people do stereotype and think that, oh, he's a veteran. He's probably messed up.
Probably been through some stuff.
Yeah. He's probably not real stable. He's probably mentally, and a lot of us have been through a lot. But I think there's getting to be more and more support out there for that, which is good.
The one thing that I would love to see, I think it's easier for veterans to talk to other veterans.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is why we're here.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the hardest things that civilians don't
It's hard for them to relate, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's not necessarily with bad experiences alone. Yeah. It's just from day one of entering the military, you can relate to someone that's been in the military for 30 years. And if you've been in for 30 years, you can relate to someone who's been in for 10 seconds somehow. And I think that's why we have this stereotype of being standoffish. We're not all like that, but like one thing I wish that we could give to more civilians our stories. I think
Yeah.
that we should break that wall down. It's time to let them in a little bit more, give them what they want, because not only do they deserve to hear the stories, but the veterans' stories deserve to be heard.
Agreed.
Anything that I'm missing?
Oh, I think
Anything
we
you want to
covered a
touch
lot,
on?
man. Yeah, we covered a lot. I've had a lot of different things happen to my life, and I'm obviously honored to sit here and talk with you. It's
Appreciate
great. I
that.
love it, man. I love what you're doing. I think this is great. Sharing people's purpose and talking about how being on the golf course makes it even better, and just be able to share stories. And I think
I'm
just
gonna
getting,
throw in some golf clips of
yeah,
us from
yeah,
the other
yeah,
day too.
yeah, yeah.
Maybe not the
So,
one where I was
yeah,
about to bleep some stuff out.
yeah, exactly. But we won't talk about that guy I hit on the course a couple weeks ago. But yeah, but yeah, we got some funny stories. But
Yeah,
I think just yeah, veterans being able to talk to veterans and being able to share a little bit more. This is a great what you're doing. I think it's an
I
opportunity
appreciate
for
that.
people to talk about how they went from military life to civilian life. Because for some, it's not real easy. For me, I felt like the transition wasn't bad, but for some, it's very difficult. That's especially for people who've been in the military for maybe retired, and that's all they know. The military is very structured, and they have a lot of control over your life. When you go from that to being able to basically be in the free world and civilian world, I should say, for the civilian world.
It's
No,
free.
but I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, I think we touched upon most of the stuff. Like I said, I feel like the answer. I love the question you asked earlier about how do I do what I do? How can I be the way I am after losing my daughter? And I think it's just for those of you people that are out there that maybe are struggling or maybe have lost a loved one, that you can still be happy and you don't have to feel guilty. There's not a day goes by that I don't think about my daughter and get emotional, but I know she would still want me to be happy. And I get that happiness from helping others and pouring into others and being able to maybe do a Monday motivation that maybe somebody, just one person watching that video made their
That's
day
all that
better.
matters.
I don't care about having a million likes or whatever, but I just do it just to basically, for one, it's therapeutic for me.
Yeah,
The other, if it helps one person, it's achieved what I'm trying to do.
I appreciate that,
Yeah.
man. Thank you, everybody, for
Thank you so
watching
much.
David Straight, episode 2 of Par and Purpose. Appreciate you,
Nice.
man.
Boom.